Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Corbin Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play the ladder. In the last episode, we are just about to leave the precinct, aren't we? And we know that Zack is behind bars, but he is unconscious at the moment. And we are essentially being thrown out because we were saying some mean words to Luke can't even say that. Luke Wright, because he is here to file a complaint, what's it called? He's gonna make a crime report, whatever. So yeah, let's go and take Rebecca's call. That's gonna be fun. A few minutes later, finds the two of us sitting in a mutual silence inside my car. With the two of us in a mood, thanks to one specific scumbag, it's better to keep our own opinions to ourselves, lest we lash out at each other. Let it melt away on its own. How long until then? Can't tell. Zack's still in lockup, and I wasn't able to do a damn thing about past getting angry and almost sucking the living daylights out of scumbag. Really, I just want to hit something, damn it. I almost envy Isabel for having the guts to throw water at him. But as amazing as it is to watch, she still shouldn't have done that. This is right we're talking about. No matter how much he hits on any woman he sees on the streets, the moment you piss him off, you better watch your back. It might have been just water, but she'll be living in the same city as him. Who knows when they'll meet again. He's just bunked up over at Anselm. I shudder to think how he can easily make her life hell with just a flick of his finger. It doesn't help that the thought of that alone adds a whole new level of irritation, atop the disappointment, anger and outrage. And in my frustration I slam a hard fist down the steering wheel. Oddly, it was finally peaks and reaction from her.
You know what? You would have ended up in an even bigger problem if you did hit him.
You threw water at him.
It won't leave a mark though. He'll live. The only thing I ruined is his expensive suit.
And he can get a few new of those, not
Still
a problem.
the same thing.
And you acting like this isn't helping Zack at all.
Really. Blame is the last thing I want to hear right now. Especially with the stunt she pulled. She means well, but anger clouds a lot of things. Sometimes, I just can't help but sprinkle my own answer with the same heat. What do you even know? What? That is a bad answer altogether. Yes, I know, damn it.
I know, damn it!
Now, first we need to check this, because it's irritating me that it shows up even if we already read it. And relationship plus, oof. Isabella likes it when Ashton takes responsibility. This is it higher than Rebecca? I think so. Somehow, admitting that out loud feels like a release in itself. As if a dam has been opened, every pent-up frustration spills from my mouth before stopping myself occurs to me.
Seriously, it's one bad thing after another.
It's gonna be one more bad thing today.
First I get kicked off my own case, now Zack's in jail, and still no word from Rebecca. To top it all off, there's a ghost, a damn ghost of all bloody things, going after us. Everything's such a clusterfuck. Ow!
Without any warning, she gives my forehead a hard flick. The pain is fleeting, but enough to stop my tirade. She appears completely unamused when I glance at her. There's no trace of anger in her eyes, though. Even lacks the sharpness Rebecca has when scolding someone. Hers are softer, but doesn't fail to nail the disappointment mother look. All at once, regret replaces the annoyance.
You don't have to act so pissy all the time, you know?
Well, she's right about that, at least.
Not everything's gonna go your way. That's something you'll have to live with. That's just how it is.
Easy to say, but the moment everything goes south...
Well, that's why we're here, right? It doesn't always have to be just you. You'll miss a lot of things in life, the good things, if you keep thinking like that. If my mama were here, you'd get a scolding.
She throws a quick smile my way, then turns her attention back to the window. Her gesture leaves no room for an argument. For some introspection? Plenty. The whole thing did serve to help clear my head, and just like that, somehow, everything doesn't look too bleak anymore. Isabella has always had that effect on people. Gratitude and apology almost forms in my lips.
Sup, Bob Ash from Deluxe City. Baggers, watch out, can't beat me. Looking for trouble? Better not lie.
Shit.
I'm a cool dude, pretty fly for
Though,
an Asian
before
guy.
the words even fall,
Sup,
my
Bob
phone
Ash from
rings,
Deluxe City.
effectively cutting through the
Baggers, watch out,
conversation.
can't beat me. Looking for
Yeah.
trouble? Better not lie. I'm a cool
A
dude,
quick glance at the
pretty
caller
fly for an
ID
Asian
shows
guy.
Rebecca's name
Sup,
and blinking
Bob
on the
Ash from
screen.
Deluxe City.
Beside me,
Baggers,
Isabella
watch out,
stares,
can't
waiting.
beat me.
It's Becca. I'll tell her to meet us at Salemwell as soon as she can. Excuse me.
Without another word, I slip out of the car and walk back into the precinct, holding off on answering the call until the door closes and the noise of the city fades away behind me. However, the tone Rebecca assumes isn't what I'm hoping to hear.
Becca?
Hey, did I wake you up?
Ragged, a bit out of breath, there's a tinge of urgency in it. Listening to her from my side of the line makes it seem like she has run a marathon prior to this call.
No, I left you a voicemail, so I thought... Where are you?
Ash, do you remember that one time?
Fucking hell. The question catches me off, to say the least. Where is she going with this?
The... what?
Back in secondary. We joined a contest back then, didn't we? We had to dress you up as a girl and...
No.
What? You looked really pretty. I think I still have that picture somewhere.
Being able to see this from both sides is fucking painful.
Burn it. We're not talking about that again. You promised.
It did happen. Not a memory I'm very fond of, to be honest. Still, all laughter escapes me, no matter how embarrassing it is. The moment is one of the few I can remember clearly in my head. I never did find where she kept those photographs.
Seriously, what brought this on?
Nothing. It's just the first thing I remembered.
You're being weird today, Becca. Whatever. Listen, I need you to go home right away. I'm at Salemwell right now and...
Thanks, Ash.
What? Suddenly, her voice hitches, almost as if she is in tears, and it sends every alarm bell ringing in my head. For better or for worse, something more than wrong is happening on her end of the line. Regardless, I give her the focus she asks of me. I don't want to think that she is nearly pleading for me to listen. I'd like to imagine that it isn't horror and deep underlying resignation that I hear in her voice. I'm transfixed.
Hold on, did I do something?
For everything.
Rebecca, what?
I'm so glad to have known you.
Wait, what are you...
Whatever her words mean, the feelings they carry ceases to matter in this instant. They're all inconsequential when someone, Rebecca's life, might be in danger. This whole thing isn't just wrong. Wherever she is, something fucked up is going on, and I'm here listening to it right now, helpless.
God damn it, Rebecca, where are you?
A laughter, and then the line drops dead.
Becca? Rebecca!
Oh, we didn't. Oh, wow. We didn't even hear her fall down. Well, that's a good thing, in a sense, but this just means Isabella is gonna rush in right now and scream for me. Dread turns into terror, and the sudden pandemonium in the precinct comes rushing in all at once. Officers barking orders, the rapid tapping of a foot against the floor, and people shouting for a dispatch. There's a split second where I'm torn between trying to figure out where Becca is and finding out what happened to inspire such chaos all of a sudden. See, Blacksburn is peaceful as cities goes. If there's any crime, it's usually low-key, in and out of the public eye as quickly as they come. Things are kept private and on a need-to-know basis, unless the media catches wind of a high-profile case or if something really odd happens. course, there's gossip and people talk, but everybody minds their own business most of the time. So when commotion happens and people are shouting for dispatch, you know there's trouble. It took only 2 words. 2 words. Broadcasting over every police radio all over the city, including the one on the front desk, to fire everything up.
Jumper up.
Jumper up. The emergency service unit is assembling, each one hoping that they'll be able to talk this one down. An ambulance will already have been placed on standby. The library isn't too far from the hospital. Regardless, it spurs something in my gut.
Copy that. Can we get a 1020?
Cold, hard feeling that tells me I should be there.
Jumper was spotted on the rooftop of the city library. Need dispatch immediately.
But my feet won't move. The phone in my hand creaks under the pressure of my grip and my knuckles turn white. All of a sudden my whole body is paralyzed with thoughts of what I might find there, as people around me rush towards the scene. It's only when something tugs at my arm that the haze bearing down on me lifts. Beside me, Isabella stands worried, eyes questioning, a concerned frown on her lips. Oh, she followed me in, huh? I didn't even notice when she followed me. But whatever she has seen in my face must have forced her to.
Ash, what's going on? The radio in your car is blasting some report about a jumper?
Rebecca.
Where is she? Did she say something? Is she coming to meet us?
No, she's...
Her hold on my arms tightens. Fear and panic flashes in her eyes while she looks at me with the same terror and dread swirling at the pit of my stomach.
Did something happen to Becca, Ash?
My own tongue has gone thick with a sickening, foreboding feeling and my whole brain has shut off. All I know is I have to run. I need to get there.
Ash! What happened?
I don't know. Just stay here.
The rest of those reassurances dies on my tongue and I broke into a run, leaving Isabella with only a comforting squeeze on her shoulder. The library isn't too far from the precinct. In cases like these, however, every minute counts, each second critical. A cold and cruel voice already whispers in my head. You're too late. I want to believe it isn't. I hope and I wish it isn't who I think it is. Because I don't want to be someone who has been so useless in that exact moment, frozen by apprehension when I heard her speak. I knew something was off, goddammit. I don't want to think it might have been her final words I'm listening to. But the horrifying possibility that what I fear is real drowns out everything else. You're too late. Anything and everything in front of me are mere obstacles in my way, and I run, jump, push everything aside as I try to make a beeline for my destination. I don't even have the time to let go of my mindless apologies, or to explain that there's an emergency to the bystanders I've shoved aside. But even with all that... Oh! That is gruesome. I'm too late.
Jumper is down. I repeat, Jumper is down. We've got a 1046 to the library. Over.
And somehow she managed to write "help me" as well. Or, you know, the ghost wrote it.
Copy that. Can we have identification of the body?
We've got a bystander here who says he knows the woman, Rebecca Gales from the local high school.
Becca. I recognize her anywhere, even from a mile away. And for once, that isn't a welcome fact. Too clear, too vivid. Her broken body lies on the sidewalk in just one big bloody mess. Her hair fans out and stands out in stark contrast to the pavement, slick with blood and redder than it's ever been. The right side of her head has caved in from the impact and her right arm twisted and mangled. And there are those words against around her. Help me. Just like the letter.
10-4. Medical personnel are on their way. Resume securing the immediate area for investigation and cleanup.
Gone.
All available officers have been dispatched for crowd control. Over.
So, as I'm looking at this, I obviously can't show this on YouTube. It would go against their policies and things like that. But I will be posting the image, on Twitter, because it's an amazing piece of art. But it is so disgusting and gruesome at the same time. So, fair warning. She's gone.
Wilco, over and out.
And I wasn't able to do a damn thing about it. Shortly, officers moved to pull the bystanders away from the scene. People who have witnessed the fall, passers-by who just want to see what's interesting going on. Someone screaming, weeping, crying. But I can't do anything other than stare. I can't even bring myself to come closer, only to stand among the crowd as just another civilian. The world has come to a standstill. Until someone's horrified scream tears above everything and nothing else matters. A familiar voice. A blur of red rushes by. My body moves and my hand shots up to reach for Isabella's, before my coherent thought forces me to her and she can even approach the body, because damn it. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! She's the last person who needs to see this. She doesn't need another death in her life. Not after Rose. Not after her father's death. Not after this. The tug causes her to stumble back in gently. I pull her towards me. It takes a whole 2 breaths for her to steady herself. Shaking, she braces both her hands against my arms, gripping my jacket tightly as if it's the only thing keeping her from breaking. She tries briefly to pull away, but my hold remains firm.
Don't look, you don't need to see this.
Though even then, there's weakness to her movements, her breathing labored. Any minute, it seems like her knees will suddenly buckle if I don't keep a steady hand on her. Yet, it all shatters when she glances up at me. Tears stream down her cheeks, panicked, desperate. Her voice brimming with anguish when she speaks.
Ash, we can still save her! We need to!
Elle, she's gone. Shh.
No, Ash! Rebecca, she's here! She's still... We have to help her! There must be something! We can't just let her die like this!
Weak as she is, she makes another attempt to break free, but my arm stays unyielding against her, and instead I draw her head closer, her facing sinking into my shoulder as furious tears flow from her eyes. At the sound of her sobs alone, everything around us fades. Every sound, every movement becomes nothing but noise. No more. Even now, I can't do anything other than stare at the pool of blood on the pavement and hold on to Isabella's like a lifeline, as she does with mine. Can't even bring myself to move. Because no matter what I say or what I do right now, empty words won't bring back the friend we lost. Numb is an understatement. No, I feel dead inside. We both do. Zach's in prison, and Rebecca's... The weight of my own failure has never felt as palpable as it does right now. In the end, I can only hang on to all that remains. Mrs. Scales. The mother. All these 3 updates are just mere minutes from each other. Damn. Ashton found himself following the emergency service unit in a daze. Soon, his fears turned real. Rebecca was already lifeless. Before he could understand what was happening, a scream echoed in the air. In the face of death, Ashton could only hold the Isabella in her grief. Death notification is a task I avoid like a plague. Although I've known Rebecca since childhood, There are plenty of reasons why I shouldn't be the one breaking the bad news to her parents. 1. Protocol states you're always supposed to do this in person. 2. Protocol also states you're supposed to do this with a partner. And 3. I've never been good with words. But here I am, unceremoniously thrusted into the task, all because there's no other one. As expected, everything goes as well as my blunt mouth can take. Mrs. Gale's relentless sobs echo loudly through the receiver when I finish informing them, while all I can say before ending the call is an empty...
I'm really sorry, Mrs. Gales.
Before ending the call with a click and heading back inside Isabella's apartment. Her mom's voice still ringing in my ear even as I leave it all in the hallway behind me. Here though, Isabella's cries have already faded into soft whimpers, and sometime while talking to Rebecca's family, she has fallen asleep. Now she lays still, curled up under her blanket. Wordlessly, I take the empty space on the edge of the bed. Despite how peaceful this all seems, the gravity of her death has hit us all hard. It's in the dense air now lingering in the room. It hangs heavy in my shoulders while I try to make sense of everything in my head. Most of all, it's in the furrow between Isabella's brows. Gently, I reach out to smoothen it out. She reacts with nothing but a sigh, before turning on her back and burying herself further under the sheets. Rebecca's dead. She's the last person I need to account for, damn it. Although Zack's not in a better situation, he's alive. Although Zack's not in a better situation, he's alive. Isabella's here.
How could this have happened?
With no ears to hear, the question merely fades into nothingness. How many more close calls do we have to go through? How many deaths do we have to witness? How long can we keep this up? We're bound to break at one point. No normal human being with a sane mind can last like this, losing people important to them, one by one, right in front of them. It's a miracle Isabella hasn't cracked yet. She, out of all of us, carry a much deeper attachment with the people she loves, no matter how little time she spent with them. After all, she was the one who found that letter. I've expected her to have caved in by now, yet her voice, surprisingly calm and composed in the face of this, is what suddenly cuts through the thick air.
Ash, what do we do now?
It's a question I've been dreading to hear. Unable to offer an answer, I avert my gaze and mumble my uncertainties under my breath, hoping she won't hear.
I don't know.
I don't even know how I'll be able to keep you safe.
We can't let that woman, that thing, take more people from us.
She's gonna take one more.
I'm not going to lose you or Zack to her.
And I you. Her bed creaks, dips when she pushes herself off it and takes the empty space on the couch. Quietly, she begins gathering every paper from BRC and starts laying them out on the table. Once done, she glances briefly at me, a sharp, determined one, then gets straight down to business without another pause. With what happened, I have no choice but to follow her lead. Although there is some tense fumbling for words at first, the whole conversation gains steam soon enough. All at once, everything we've brushed off, carelessly ignored and rudely dismissed has been laid out for close scrutiny. Her encounters with the woman are close brushes with death every time she appears. The dread, the fear, the terror she brings out even in the bravest of us. Everything. Because no matter how bleak this all seems, there must still be a way out of this. There has to be logic. There has to be. Logic be damned. Or at least, that's what Isabella and I would like to believe. Yet, even as the cold morning light shifts to the warm hues of late afternoon and eventually night, none of this still makes a fucking damn sense. Darkness has fallen, but we're still nowhere near figuring things out. If anything, we're more at a loss than we've ever been before we even started this. The next thing I know, frustration rears its ugly head and the sheets of paper I've been holding smacks the table harder than I intended. The sound of it echoes loudly in the small room and we simply fall silent. Along with it is a release of another long-held breath. Perhaps the hundreds since this morning.
We aren't getting anywhere at this rate.
Don't just drop it. There must be something in this we aren't seeing yet. Ash, please. Rebecca wouldn't want us to give up on this.
It's an odd thing to hear from her. The very words I've been telling myself every single time I find myself facing a dead end. We can use a little of the optimism right now, I guess. Isabella's right on the other point as well. Rebecca would definitely give me an earful herself if she was still here. She had a knack for being brutally honest with her opinions. We had often clashed at times, yet I still respected her for it. Her opinions was as valuable as every other person I let into my life. Can't lose another person like that.
I know, but what are we supposed to be looking at here in the first place?
Well, we already looked through those files. You're the one that picked it out last night, right?
All of them? I'm pretty sure every person we've checked in there isn't necessarily involved. One client possibly died of old age. Remember, you found that dumb paper right before the open house. No one was allowed inside that place for a time that day. It's too broad of a scope if we include every single person. In fact, the only notable ones are C and Jean-Marie.
But if we're going to include them in the count, shouldn't there have been more than enough people to end this fucking curse already? How does this thing even work?
Yeah, okay, we went in and out of the place, but no, you still don't get it. What I'm trying to say about those clients is, maybe there's more to this than just the letter.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Ashton?
Hey, I'm trying my best here. I wasn't trained to deal with this kind of shit.
We're also missing a lot of things here. There's still a gap. A huge one. Even with the information we currently have right now, it still feels like there's something we're overlooking. All we have to go with is the letter and all the stuff selfish people have been keeping from the public. But what else? Where this all started? The Ermengarde mansion? Will bringing the letter back there fix everything? Fuck. How do I? The mansion's private property now. Can't just waltz in there. I'd rather die before I even think of begging a right to let me in and investigate the place. After what he did to Zack, not gonna happen. Over my dead body. One thing's clear after these last 2 days, however. We're not safe anywhere and I have to act fast if I want to keep my friends alive. We can't keep running away. Sooner or later, she'll get us like she did with Rebecca. And damn it, I hope Zack's safe where they're keeping him. There are guards stationed and there are holding cells 24/7, but you can't be sure. This is a ghost we're up against. Before anything happens, I do have to put an end to this. Sighing, I stand up and stretch out the kinks in my back after several hours of sitting. We've been at this for too long. A break is needed. Time to let everything sink in, or else we'll all burn out. I know I will, and it's another thing I cannot let happen when they're all counting on me like this. Albeit unspoken, is in Isabella's eyes as she looks up at me waiting.
We've been at this since morning. We should take a break for a few...
I was just about to turn this shit off. Why is there a ghost here now, and where the fuck is it? The rest of it never makes it out of my mouth as something heavy and grating sounds from the far end of the room. A harsh booming noise rending through the eardrums of every person in the room. 2 people. All at once, Isabella's on her feet, while I quickly palm for my gun on the table. However, before I can pull it up and remove the safety, the whole racket stops. Stillness descends in the room. and amidst the sudden hush, the two of us exchanged anxious glances. So much for a break.
Ash, do you think that's her?
Gather everything.
No questions asked. She wastes no time getting to work, piling up the documents we've been reading through. Even Isabella's unusually silent as she gathers everything in her arms, her own movements sharp and precise, a deep furrow in her brow. There's fear, but something hardened and urgent overshadows it. But the moment doesn't last. Before we can even finish, another noise ups the tension already gripping the place. What the fuck is this? Suddenly the light goes out and the wardrobe at the end of the room rattles, as if something inside begs for freedom. Cautiously, eyes glued to it, I take a step forward and release the lock from my gun. I'm no trigger-happy person. I'm not even sure if this will work on a ghost. But right now, its smooth surface against my palm, with the trigger on my finger, provides the closest thing I have to relief as I approach the closet.
Ashton, what are you doing? Ashton?
I have everything. We should just... Worried as she is, she immediately stops at the slightest raise of my hand. But the edge is there while it huddles in the space between the door and the room. In case this goes south, whatever I find inside, she has enough time and space to run from her position. In 2 deep breaths, I crossed the room and stood in front of the closet. Fuck you. Whatever's inside has yet to stop thrashing. Instead, it has now moved to banging at the door, louder and louder the longer I dally. Another shallow breath. I glance at Isabella. A nod. Something creaks. Then, in the next moment, I'm grasping at the handles and swinging the doors wide open to reveal... nothing. Right away, I part the clothes hanging on it, and still none. No ghost. No woman. No single trace of whoever's inside. Confused, I glance back towards Isabella, only to see her mirroring the same expression on my face. The noise has finally stopped, but I'm quite sure it isn't my imagination. Or maybe it is, and I'm just too strung up that my head's now making things up. Whatever the case is, we need to get out of here, as soon as possible. Though, this only confirms we aren't safe anywhere. Without bothering to close it, I move back, ready to leave, adrenaline now coursing through every vein in my body. In the next second I'm barking orders and...
We should go. Isabella, we need to...
I'm sent sprawling on my back as something cold catches my ankle and janks! Evil motherfucker! Dislocate my shoulder, my jaw, and go! The resulting fall knocks the wind out of me. Pain racks my whole spine and the back of my head as it all collides against the floor, with force enough to dislodge my own brain from my skull. A moment lasts before stars fade from my vision. And then... I sense it. Cold tendrils twisting around my ankles, the smell of a vile rot assaulting my nose. Nauseating, sickening, a foul smell draining every feeling in my body. The moment her horrid laughter, still as unpleasant and vicious as the last time I heard it, reaches my ears, my eyes snap open. Fuck you. Perhaps it's just inexperience. Or maybe my mind still attempted to comprehend this. Regardless, the minute my hands lands on her, the whole of my body freezes. The gun in my hand turns useless as my grip on it slackens. It's in the manner her gaze bores on me, I'll say. You look disgusting here. Fuck off. The look of utter hatred and malice. I've seen it loads of times. From suspects, mostly murderers, who never regretted their action despite being caught. This is the face of someone who you can no longer reason with. And I know The moment she laughs again and starts dragging me towards her, it's already going to be the...
Ashton, snap out of it!
Oh, you can see it! No, I can't die here. Not yet. The haze fades from my mind and instinct kicks in and then and there.
Isabella, out! Get out! Get out of here!
With one powerful tug, I yank my foot out of her grip and scramble back to my feet, ignoring the piercing wail she fills the room with. Within the span of a second, I'm gunning for the door, grabbing for Isabella's arm and leading her out. Into the hallway, down the flight of steps, and right inside my car. I waste no time flooring on the gas pedal the second she closes the door behind her, and in a short while, I'm driving out of Salem Well. I don't even entertain the thought of winding down just yet, even as the last of the woman's painful cries fade into the night. A dreary downpour starts off the Monday. Fuck you, witch lady. With the help of his remaining friend, Ashton tried to find a way to free themselves of the curse, piecing together what they currently know, to no avail. Exhausted, he excused himself for some fresh air, but not before a ruckus coming from Isabella's closet broke the silence of the room. And that is where I cut off for today's episode. We finally got to see Rebecca die, and that sucked ass. And in the next episode, or the episode after that, I believe we're going to find Zach's corpse as well. If you want to watch the rest of this, I urge you to come back in the future. And remember, just because you're not the main character, it doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.